Right, so this is the big bookshelf that you usually see me in front of whenever I am filming my videos. And on it, there's a lot of dystopian and a lot of fantasy paranormal type books. I don't think there is one contemporary book on this shelf. So on the very top shelf here, first I have my BlackBerry Playbook that I watch a lot of videos and stuff on. And then it also doubles as an e-reader whenever my Kobo is charging. And then I have Of Poseidon by Anna Banks, which is one of the books that I am currently reading. And then something that I just have to hang up somewheres whenever I get around to it, and it is just a little thing that says, "And they lived happily ever after." It's got like a gold rim around it, so I will be hanging that on the wall eventually. And then I have 3 other candles here. They are hazelnut as well. As you can see, there's a couple of box set books on this shelf. The first one here is the Hush Hush Saga by Becca Fitzpatrick. So Hush Hush, Crescendo, Silence, and Finale. And I don't know if they show the way down there. They have the 4 different covers of all of the books. Then I have Shards and Ashes by Melissa Marr and Kelly Armstrong, and this is another collection of short stories, and this one is all dystopian based. Hemlock by Catherine Peacock. I think the next book of that comes out soon. The Treachery of Beautiful Things by Ruth Francis Long. So Close to You by Rachel Carter. I think the next book of this is also out soon, or is already out. Serafina by Rachel Hartman. Fateful by Claudia Gray. Radiant Darkness by Emily Whitman. I have the 5 books in the Percy Jackson and the Olympians series by Rick Riordan. The Lightning Thief, Sea of Monsters, The Titan's Curse, The Battle of the Labyrinth, and The Last Olympian. Another box set, so there are all of the covers of the books right there. Another book that I'm currently reading, The Crown of Embers by Ray Carson. A couple of bookmarks. The Hunger Games trilogy by Suzanne Collins. The Hunger Games, Catching Fire, and Mockingjay. And there are the 3 covers of those books. Then I have the Vampire Chronicles by Anne Rice. So if you turn it around, you see the 3 books: The Interview with the Vampire, The Vampire Lestat, and The Queen of the Damned, which I showed you paperback versions of before. So I don't really read this book. It's just a showpiece, kind of. It's like got the gold leafing around the pages, and it's heavy and just really, really pretty, and I don't want anything to happen to it. And then hiding behind it, I have another big hazelnut candle. On the top shelf of the bookcase, these are all dystopian books, and they are all series. There's a lot of series on this shelf as well, but the first book that I have is The Kill Order by James Dashner, and then the rest of the series: The Maze Runner, The Scorched Trials, and The Death Cure. And I heard that they actually cast some people to play in the movie for The Maze Runner, so there's a chance that might actually be getting made. So Renegade by J.A. Souters. Breathe by Sarah Crossan. Then I have the Delirium series by Lauren Oliver, so this is a completed series. Delirium, Pandemonium, and Requiem. Then I have 2 books in the Legend series by Marie Lu, so Legend and Prodigy. I believe there's 1 more book in that series to come. I have The Darkest Minds by Alexandra Bracken, which is the first in a series. City of 1,000 Dolls by Miriam Forrester, which I believe is also the first in a series. And another first is Mila 2.0, or Mila 2.0, however you pronounce that, by Deborah Dryza. The Archived by Victoria Schwab, The Immortal Rules and the Eternity Cure by Julie Kagawa, cover change. The Forsaken by Lisa M. Stass, Under the Never Sky and Through the Evernight by Veronica Rossi, Black City by Elizabeth Richards, Incarnate and Asunder by Jody Meadows, Taken by Aaron Bowman. Then another completed trilogy here is Eve, Once, and Rise by Anna Carey, Mind Games by Kirsten White, Cinder and Scarlet by Marissa Meyer, Divergent and Insurgent by Veronica Roth, and then I also have the collector's edition of Insurgent, so it's a very shiny gold cover there. And on the middle shelf here I have some more dystopian books and a lot of paranormal type books, and as well as a lot of series. Actually, I think they are all series. So I have Shadow and Bone and Siege and Storm by Leigh Bardugo, Level 2 by Lenore Appel-Hans, which I think had a name change, but my copy is called Level 2 as I mentioned in a previous video. Rush by Eve Silver. This one is actually new. Then I have the first book in the Paper Dolls series, or the Project Paper Dolls series by Stacey Cade, The Rules. The Program by Suzanne Young. Mystic City by Theo Lawrence. Icons by Marit Stoll. Valkyrie Rising by Ingrid Paulson. When the Sea is Rising Red by Kate Hellison. Haven by Christy Cook. Of Triton by Anna Banks. This is the sequel to Of Poseidon, which I am currently reading, as you saw earlier. The Nightmare Affair by Mindy Arnett. Let the Sky Fall by Shannon Messenger. Team Human by Justine LaBallestier and Sarah Reese Brennan. Unspoken by Sarah Reese Brennan. Nevermore and Enshadowed by Kelly Craig. The Scorpio Races by Maggie Stiefvater, and then the first book in the Raven cycle, The Raven Boys, by the same author. Then I have the Paranormal Sea trilogy by Kirsten White, Paranormal Sea. Supernaturally and Endlessly. Then I have Unremembered by Jessica Brody. Immortal City and Natural Born Angel by Scott Spear. Something Strange and Deadly by Suzanne Dennard. Born Wicked by Jessica Spotwood. The second book of this, Star Curse, just barely came out. The Madman's Daughter by Megan Shepherd. Everneath and Everbound by Brody Ashton. Then The Daughter of Smoke and Bone by Laini Taylor, and then the sequel to that, Days of Blood and Starlight. Then on the bottom shelf here is more series. Some are paperback and some are hardcover. So the very first one in the corner here is Eon by Alison Goodman. Then I have the Nightshade trilogy, along with the first book in the prequel to Nightshade is by Andrea Kremer, so Rift. I am waiting for Rise to come out in paperback. Then the actual Nightshade trilogy, Nightshade, Wolfsbane, and Blood Rose. Then I have the Soul Screamer series by Rachel Vincent, My Soul to Take, My Soul to Save, My Soul to Keep, My Soul to Steal, If I Die, Before I Wake, and With All My Soul. And this is another one, if you can see there, where there is a bit of a height difference between the series, so that really bugs me, but there's not much that you can do. Then I have The Poison Princess, the first book in the Arcana Chronicles by Cressy Cole. The Paladin Prophecy by Mark Frost, another really big book. The Tempest and the Vortex by Julie Cross. And I have Mask of the Red Death and Dance of the Red Death by Bethany Griffin. Lies Beneath by Anne Greenwood Brown. Hourglass and Timepiece by Myra McIntyre. Hereafter by Tara Hudson. Angel Burn by L.A. Weatherly. Wake by Amanda Hocking, and the two other ones in the series, Lullaby and Title. I'm not sure if that completes the series or not. I'm not sure if it's a trilogy or a series. And I have Tempest Rising by Tracy Debs. Tiger Lily by Jodi Lynn Anderson, and this is actually a standalone book, so I do have standalones on this shelf. Splintered by A.G. Howard. Another standalone, Origin by Jessica Corey. Fairy Tales and Nightmares by Melissa Marr. The Gypsy King by Maureen Fergus. Invisibility by Andrea Kremer and David Levithan. The Fifth Wave by Rick Yancey. Archon by Sabrina Benulis. And the last book is Venom by Fiona Paul. And I believe the sequel to that one comes out soon as well. So those are all of the books on the big bookcase. Alright, so this right here is the temporary bookshelf that I will be replacing as soon as I can get around to affording to buy a big, tall bookshelf. But, you know, it's a nice bookshelf and it'll work for now. There's just one slight little problem with it. As you can see here, there's a bit of a space right there, so whenever you put the books in, you can't see all of them. Plus, it's really deep. It's 2 books deep, or 2 rows of books deep, and I just kind of prefer them to not be that deep, unless they are like that one over there where you can kind of display all of them at the same time. But for now, this is what's working. So the first books that I have on this shelf here are a bunch of different series. So there is the Chicagoland Vampire series by Chloe Neal, Some Girls Bite, Friday Night Bites, Twice Bitten, Hard Bitten, Drink Deep, Biting Cold, and then the title that really doesn't make any sense to me, House Rules, because the other 6 all have to do with something that, you know, could be associated with vampires, mostly biting. And House Rules just doesn't really seem to fit. Then we have Kelly Armstrong series, so we have The Calling and The Gathering. I am still missing The Rising of that series. And then there is The Summoning, The Awakening, and The Reckoning. So there is a completed trilogy. And then in behind those books, I have a few paperback of series as well. So there is The Demon's Lexicon by Sarah Reese Brennan, The Demon's Covenant, and The Demon's Surrender. And then I also have Rotten Ruin and Dust and Decay by Jonathan Mayberry. I have the first bind-up in the Thirst series by Christopher Pike. This one has Human Urges and Fatal Consequences. I still need to get the other bind-ups in that series. And then I have an ARC copy of Order of the Darkness by Philippa Gregory, which is the second book in the Stormbringers series. The first book was Changeling. So this book's actually out now. I just haven't gotten around to reading it yet, but I will have to do that soon. Then on the middle shelf here, I have the Harry Potter series by J.K. Rowling. These are all the adult covers in the paperback, as you can see. So there is the Philosopher's Stone, and then the Chamber of Secrets, the Prisoner of Azkaban, the Goblet of Fire, the Order of the Phoenix, Half-Blood Prince, and the Deathly Hallows. So these, as you can see, get so much bigger near the end. And then in behind of those, there are some paperback books of series that have been made into TV shows. So the first one is a bunch of different names that people call them from series. Some call them the True Blood series, some call them the Southern Vampire series, some call them the Sookie Stackhouse series, but they're all by Charlene Harris. So there is Dead Until Dark, Living Dead in Dallas, Club Dead, Dead to the World, and Dead as a Doornail. And then I have the first 4 books in the Song of Fire and Ice series by George R.R. Martin, or also known as the Game of Thrones series. The first one is Game of Thrones, then A Clash of Kings, A Storm of Swords, and A Feast for Crows. So I think there's one other book that's out right now. It's not out in paperback yet, and then it's just a matter of waiting for him to publish the next book in the series. Then on the next shelf, I have a bunch of contemporary books. These are all paperback. I have Taking Chances and From Ashes by Molly McAdams, Hooked by Liz Fischera, Shine by Lauren Miracle, Catching Jordan, Stealing Parker, and Things I Can't Forget from the 100 Oaks series by Miranda Kennelly, Heist Society and Uncommon Criminals by Allie Carter, Breathe by Abby Glines. This is the first in the Seabreeze series. Then also by Abby Glines, I have The Vincent Boys and The Vincent Brothers. And then hiding here, I have The Perfect Chemistry, Rules of Attraction, and if it wants to come out, Chain Reaction by Simone Eccles. And then next I have some hardcover contemporary books. There's not that many on here because once they hit hardcovers, they're kind of hard to fit into small shelves. But I have Jellica Road by Melina Marchetta, Something Like Normal by Trish Doller, Life After Theft by April Lynn Pike, Our Song by Jordana Freiberg, Every Day by David Levithan, The Fault in Our Stars by John Green, Pushing the Limits and Dare You To by Katie McGarry, My Life Next Door by Huntley Fitzpatrick, and Such a Rush by Jennifer Eccles. And then behind them I have some more hardcovers, and these are all fantasy type books. So I have Glow and Spark by Amy Kathleen Ryan, Blood Magic by Tessa Grattan, Revolution 19 by Greg Rosenblum, I Am Number 4, The Power of 6, and The Rise of 9, all by Pittacus Lore. And then I have Virals and Seizure by Kathy Reichs. The last book, or the next book in that series, I'm not sure if it's the last book in a trilogy or not, is already out. I just haven't gotten around to buying it yet. Then in the bottom middle shelf, I have some more paperbacks, and these are all, again, fantasy type books. So I have Ruby Red by Kirsten Gier and Sapphire Blue. Then I have Wildfire by Karsten Knight, Darkness Becomes Her, and A Beautiful Evil by Kelly Keaton. Then I have the 4 books in the Goddess Test series. So the Goddess Test, Goddess Interrupted, the Goddess Legacy, and the Goddess Inheritance. And then I have Grave Mercy by Robin Lefevers. And then hiding behind those ones, I have some more just kind of either random books or some series that aren't completed. One series is complete, but just kind of tall. There's This Dark Endeavor by Kenneth Opel, which is kind of a retelling of Frankenstein. Another Pan, or Another Faust, and then Another Pan, and Another Jekyll, Another Hyde, all by Daniel and Dia Nayari. Graceling and Fire by Kristen Kishore. I am waiting for Bitter Blue to be out in paperback, and then I can find a place for it that is not hiding behind other books. Zombies vs. Unicorns by a bunch of different authors. It is another collection of short stories. Marked by PC and Kristen Cast. It's the first book in the House of Night series. There's like 12 or 15 in the series, and I only own the first one, so that's why that's behind everything. The Unbecoming of Maya Dyer, which I've only got the first one, so that's why it's behind as well. And Juliet Immortal by Stacey J. I don't have Romeo Redeemed yet, so again, that's why it's hiding behind here. So those are my bookshelves, and that was the tour, or at least of the young adult sections that are in my room. I do have other books, like adult and children's books, that I just can't seem to get rid of. I actually still own a lot of my Hardy Boys and Nancy Drew books from whenever I was a teenager and even younger, but those are all in boxes down in the basement, so I can't really show them. And then the adult books are downstairs as well. So those are all my young adult books, and I will probably have to update another bookshelf tour in a few months. But for now, that's all. I'll see everybody next time.